Fasting is the hardest part. We're so hungry. Are you hungry?
Very. I'm like a hungry zombie now. Yummy.
What happened? We are at Pantai today with Emma, doing a health check together with Pantai today. When you're age 40 and above, health check is something that you should do most of the time. But yeah, so today we're going to meet up with Dr Imran, who is based in Pantai Hospital, which I actually met him last year. I'm going to ask him something that's quite relevant nowadays. You've noticed that in Malaysia, it either rain or it's super hot. So one of the questions I want to ask Dr Imran today is, right, how do we climatize ourselves, and what's the risk of being under the sun too long, you know, the signs of heat stroke, as well as cycling under the rain. So I'm going to ask him all this stuff and let's see what he says later. But right now I'm in Pantai. Now I'm going to do a full body screening. Again, this is sponsored by Pantai Hospital. Thank you, Pantai Hospital. And I think it's important for us who are aged, not even 40, aged 30 above, have to do your annual checkup lah. Any penting out, because you don't know, especially for us who are endurance cyclists, right? You definitely have to take care of health, monitor your cholesterol, monitor all this and all that to ensure that when you're out cycling, you are not only safe, you're not only protecting yourself, you're protecting others who are cycling with you as well as your family. And if you don't know, I met my wife here as well. Hi wife! Say hi! Yeah, so my wife is here together with me to do the health screening. Hey Hema, how have you been?
Good, great. Always great, right?
Just saw you like last year, right?
Yeah.
It's like my birthday to see her once a year. An annual event.
And it's good, always good to see you all.
Oh, so sweet.
Now your turn, Melvin Tan.
So good to see you again, Dr Imran.
Yeah, good to see you.
How have you been?
I've been good, Melvin. Hope you've been well as well.
Awesome. Okay, Dr Imran is based in Pantai Hospital KL. So if anybody wants to meet a sports cardiologist,
Me.
him, not me. Like with global warming, all. I think now if you go out for afternoon run, the temperature hits up to 40 above easily. And when it rains, it just rains macam monsoon.
Totally, definitely.
Yeah, so I think I want to ask you some quick question that I think is quite cycling related and it can be very relatable to many cyclists, even runners.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, biasa you run until what time?
Normally I run 5 a.m. So I avoid the heat.
Yeah, but for cyclists, I think a lot of us have no choice to go through the 11 a.m. 11, I think nowadays 9 a.m. already panas.
Yeah, the morning sun, right? Yeah.
I'm going to ask you something related to, there are three main topics I'm going to ask you. One is heat, second is rain, and the third one is the common death of a cyclist on the road. Because I think a lot of you will know that there has been quite a number of deaths recently. Not even recently, I mean for the past 7 years, I think I could easily count the one that I've heard, at least 4 or 5 deaths on the road could be potentially due to heat stroke or heart attack.
Correct? Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, quite common. I think runners also go through that.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so let's go on the heat question first. Okay, Dr. Imran, for heat, is there such a thing on how we can train ourselves to climatize ourselves for heat?
I think, Melvin, that's a really important subject, particularly with Malaysia punya heat. Sometimes it's totally monsoon, sometimes it's totally crazy hot. And we recognize, I think, global warming is a big issue now. Europe, America, fires. So what do we do and how do we do exercise in heat, and what kind of dangers? Heat is more or less defined when our body temperature or core temperature goes more than 40 Celsius or close to 40 Celsius, and that's like a high fever. What happens then? Our brains will start to change in terms of their signaling. They'll ask our blood vessels to start dilating, our sweat will start pouring out. Some people can actually lose up to 10 liters a day in certain long runs. And our heart actually, in excessive heat, has to work harder. Imagine if you're walking and the heart has to work harder. Imagine if you're running already or cycling, it would have to work more, where your blood pressure starts dropping and so on. How we acclimatize or how we exercise safely, one, we have to anticipate problems. So for example, if it looks like it's going to be a hot day, like hot morning sun and so on, I see a lot of runners out there bundled up in jackets to try and get as much sweat out.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Yeah, I find it strange.
I find it super strange. Like I think it's a Malaysian thing where the more sweat, the better they feel, the healthier they feel.
Yeah.
But you know, those kind of things are actually the opposite of what we should be doing in hot climes like Malaysia. Where actually you can see that runners, in myself included, even though I run early in the morning, I wear loose fitting shirts, okay? I wear sleeveless shirts or vests, running vests. The type of material as well, I mean, you can see a lot of runners wearing lycra and sweat wicking technology out. That's super important because when the sweat does not dry, it actually causes a lot of heat trapping. So when we're wearing things such as lycra, heat wicking running vest, and our sweat is continuously drying, that helps cool us down. So loose fitting clothes, super important. Or sweat removing or fast sweat drying clothes are really important. So other things such as hats, you know, running caps or jogging caps, with cyclists definitely with helmets and so on, something to shield yourself from the sun is super important.
Like those UV,
Definitely,
UV
yeah,
head
cap,
covers.
yeah, head cover, those big ones, right? Yeah.
Or even the small one, just like it just covers the head.
Yeah, that really helps as well, because anything that reduces exposure to sun and the heat, something that actually helps to remove heat. That I cannot emphasize the most or emphasize more is adequate hydration, Melvin. And you can see that some cyclists, they have two bottles, one on the top and one on the slanting pillar, the diagonal one. And those are the kind of cyclists that are probably thinking about sweating, because you know, like I told you, you can lose a few kilos just from a huge distance cycle, and that's all the kilos is definitely not from fat burning, it's definitely from fluid loss. So sweating, so lots of hydration.
So okay, then you talk about like protecting your skin from the UV, right? The sunblock helps.
Sunblock definitely
cream?
helps. Yeah.
So then, if let's say you would choose between a sunblock and a sleeve, which one would you go for? Or is both the same?
I think it's both protection. Even some kind of fabric nowadays is got the UV protection. You know, like the swimmers, the long sleeve, they all got protection. So I think something with a good UV protection.
So
UV
is there a specific UV number we should go for?
Not particularly lah, but anything higher is better, I guess.
So 50 and above.
50 and above is more than adequate.
Okay, so some of you asked me sunblock or sleeve. I think it was you, Falik. I guess end of the day, as long as you're using it,
Definitely.
Do you think we can actually climatize ourselves to be prepared for it?
If we can, I mean, like the problems where people have problems during heat is when they are not used to. For example, they train in cooler times and then suddenly they want to go for a 12 p.m. cycle. Pengsan.
Yes.
So these are the kind of things where, you know, they always have to start. I think the last time pun we spoke about this, is all about gradual and gradual build up.
Step at a time.
Yeah, step at a time and so on. Yep.
So I guess heat training is basically do it within reason and slowly build up from there.
Slowly build up.
But I think for cyclists, it's good that every 10 minutes sip some water.
Definitely.
Important. There's a lot of cyclists, sometimes we don't know when or how we pace ourselves. So when do you know, is there any indicators for a person that, you know, they feel a heat stroke is going to come? You know, when do they know, or should they decide they should stop and rest for a while?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question. What are the symptoms where you might be in a warning zone, right?
Yeah.
So in a danger zone. So if you read like websites and textbooks, they always say that if you start getting confused, you're starting to lose focus, you're getting a bit muddled, those are the early signs of heat stroke affecting the brain. If you feel that you're getting a bit breathless, your heart rate is going higher and higher even though you're resting, those are the kind of signs of heat stroke. And if your blood pressure is very up and down, if you have suddenly flushing, very red flushed skin, those are the kind of warning signs as well. So I think in those kind of situations, just try to find some shade, get some hydration in.
I think it happened to me before. Like I feel, I start lose focus. I feel very dizzy. I feel very thirsty, and I feel like my body just cannot generate enough power anymore.
Yeah, it's like shutting down, right?
Yeah, it's about to shut down.
Yeah.
So I think as cyclists, all of you out there, I think when you feel that your body is telling you to stop, you better stop, because when your body stops by itself, it's just too late.
Disaster. Man.
Yeah, and I think also one more thing is I realize is like what Dr. Imran mentioned. I think heart rate monitor is so important, right?
Correct.
So is there a simple calculation where a person needs to know like when they should stop based on heart rate numbers?
I think first and foremost, everybody should know their max heart rate lah, and it's actually 220 minus their age. So if you're 40 years old, 220 minus 40, 180 is your top range. I know some people try to touch it lah, exceed it, but you know, then you kind of go 10% of that would probably be zone 5 and so on, right? So you kind of you shouldn't be in that kind of zone for more than 15 minutes at the stretch. You might go, if you're a runner, you might go this interval training where you blast it all the way, and then you take it down. Blast it and take it down. So nobody actually should be doing sustained high heart rate exercise.
So again, 220 minus your age. So if let's say for me, I'm 40 years old, in a simple calculation, my heart rate max is 180.
Correct.
So with the heart rate monitor, when I'm cycling, when I reach 170, I know I need to pace downward. Don't wait until 180. There is no medal in reaching to the top or being first and telling your friends, I hit 190 heart rate, way. I think that's not the attitude we should carry.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Okay, what do we do when we see someone who has a heat stroke? Like let's say for example, under hot temperature, and we see that person's on the ground, what should we do?
It's cool. One is, without doing anything else, if you're alone, you have to call for help. Don't start anything without calling for help. Okay, just try to give him a ring, give a shout, flag down a couple of cars or something like that. That's the first thing to get help. Second thing, cool them down quite quickly. The main thing is getting hydration in. So if they're able to drink, just get as much drink as possible in them. Alright, cool them down, fan, kipas yang diorang, loosen their clothes, etc.
I think first one shouldn't get help first. First one is check environment.
Check
make sure
environment, get it safe. Get it safe. Don't get run down.
Then after that, get help. Call 911 or call 999 or flag a car. Then after that is hydration,
and then start cooling them down, fan them, loosen them,
shade them, fan them, umbrella them, and all that stuff. Okay. There's one thing that I noticed as well, which is magnesium pill. I was actually asked to take magnesium pill for better body regulation, which I did. I don't know whether does it really work or not, but I noticed when I take magnesium pill, I sleep better. And also I noticed that my cramp has, when I do long rides, my cramp, I don't really take salt stick anymore. I'm pretty well managed on the cramp department. Do you think magnesium pills help?
I think, well, I'm not sure if magnesium pills help, but magnesium is a very important electrolyte in bodily function lah. For example, if you have low magnesium, then you can't manage other salts. So there's no point trying to overdo other salts if your magnesium levels are low. So I think, there are some salt drinks which will contain magnesium, sodium, potassium inadequate, and then a bit of amino acids here and there. So I'm not sure whether magnesium pills themselves help, but what we must recognize is magnesium is an important component of our natural salt regulation.
For the body function.
Definitely. So that's probably why you feel a bit better. Your contribution.
Which is weird because after I take magnesium, I'm not selling any magnesium pill by the way. I've just noticed that one of my subscribers in Australia told me that he take magnesium pill. He advised me, he recommended to take it. Now I try to take it. I noticed that I sleep better. And I also noticed that my long rides I don't get cramp as often. This magnesium pill might not solve your cramp. I'm just saying that it works on me. Anyway, now I'm going to go to the next few questions, which is hujan. Everyday hujan.
Cycling or exercising in the rain has its own challenges as well, kan? I don't think it's got as many issues as heat. Okay, but obviously the challenges from the rain, if you're a runner like myself, would be which would be easily blistering. Because for some reason the contact with the shorts or with the socks and shoes suddenly increase.
I know runners have this, the nipple blistering is very painful.
Very painful. Very painful. But then the other challenges probably would be road traffic conditions actually, Melvin, rather than anything else with the rain. I can't identify anything else really.
Okay, so for rain there isn't anything much.
Nothing much in terms of health.
Let's say in terms of general wellness, how can we make ourselves less prone to getting sick? Like kena hujan a bit, some will get sick terus one. Right? But how do we manage ourselves not to get sick? So
I think I think that's just general advice lah, just to make sure adequate rest, good nutrition, good nutrition, enough balanced vitamins in your fruit and vegetables, high fiber diets. Those are all sensible advice.
So is it true that vitamin C is very important?
Definitely important. Yeah, fundamental.
God, I listen, my mother tell me, I just do it.
Yeah.
Now a quick question on something that is very dear to my heart, because I know this happens to a lot of cyclists. Not only age 60 above, but even age 30 above also can happen, which is you can die on the road anytime. Which is why I'm a big supporter of this Lifeline ID. You know Lifeline ID?
Yep.
Where they give your emergency contact number, everything.
Next of kin, everything.
So I'm a big fan of that because the Lifeline ID actually does help a lot. So I'm going to ask some easy question here is, on stroke and death, what are the main causes you think where a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old might just collapse on the road and get a heart attack? Why?
I think it's been in the news, some high-profile deaths during cycling as well. There've been some professional cyclists as well. And I think it comes to the point where why would these kind of people have collapses, death and so on, cardiac arrest, right? In general, in most cases, there will always be an underlying issue. Most of these people who collapse, when postmortems or autopsies are done, they will find an irregularity or problem with the heart. The problems with the heart, which are most common, would be blocked blood vessels, coronary artery disease, undiscovered or already treated, right? Other things include types of heart problems such as something called HOCM, HCM, and that's when a part of your heart is abnormally thick. So when you exercise, that thickness increases and can block out the whole and can put you in a very difficult or very dangerous heart rhythm. It can stop your blood supply, etc. Rare cases include things such as where your heart rhythm suddenly goes abnormal, goes fast, and that puts you into a cardiac arrest and so on. There are some tips to try and reduce the risk of this happening. One, certain sports are thought to be higher risk than others. For example, things such as swimming, jogging, cycling, those are very stable energy sports, right? Whereas things such as badminton, futsal, basketball, those are what we call burst exercises with rapid acceleration, deceleration. Those kind of are associated with more problems. I even had a patient who had a 25-year-old patient playing futsal.
25 years old.
25, who actually had a heart attack during futsal. Tips to actually reduce the risk of these kind of problems happening are very, very commonsensical. One, enough rest before and after exercise. Two, good nutrition. By far, the most important thing that people have pointed out, hydration. Hydration all the time, before, during, after.
So basically drink more water lah.
Definitely.
Which I think most of us we are quite weak in. I think generally human beings just lazy to drink water.
We're always quite guilty of
guilty. That's the
we're always quite guilty of neglecting hydration in this kind of case, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, but then how about then? If let's say talk about that, how about then like cholesterol and weight? Do you think cholesterol and weight is a contributing factor?
Yeah, definitely. It's because if blockages or blocked blood vessels in the heart is a major issue with problems during exercise, you have to think what causes these blocked blood vessels in the first place. Increased weight, smoking, hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes. So these are the kind of groups of people who are at risk of problems during exercise actually.
So you all might think that because I'm so big size, statistically I'm high risk of heart attack, which is not wrong. Okay, but I just did my health check. My cholesterol is
good. Stress test 101%.
Do you know my stress test is 101%? So to all of you out there, don't judge a person because he's big size, okay? I can do stress test 101%.
101%.
Dr Imran so proud of me.
Yeah, very proud.
For all that. So does it mean that a person's size doesn't generally mean he's high risk of heart attack as long as he still is active?
I think you have to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Because if you're a thin person but you smoke, have diabetes, have high cholesterol, there's no point. But if you're big size but you don't have diabetes and you don't have diabetes, your cholesterol is good, you exercise regularly, so you're compensating a lot for in terms of the other aspects. So that's quite good. Those are the kind of things we want.
So to all of you there outside who are obese, overweight, I'm one of those category. I'm one of you. But because what I did lah, my lunchtime I don't really eat lunch. What I do is I eat fruits and I eat nuts, just to tahan lapar. This is what I've been doing for the past 4-5 months, I think. And I think it's sort to work. I eat a heavy breakfast, bread, cheese, any food that I feel like eating just to tahan lapar. Then dinner I eat normal. I feel that I think this is the reason why. Also, chicken skin.
Yeah. Most of the fat in chicken is under the skin, so it's in the skin. So make sure if you enjoy your fried chicken, remove the skin first.
Ayo, I tell you, my wife don't allow me to eat chicken skin for the past 4 months. But I think it helps.
It's probably shown up.
And I think end of the day, it's not to say it's difficult. It's just putting the first step.
Yeah, definitely.
Try, like for me, try cutting sugar for the first 1 week. Take it gradually and then see how it goes. It works. Second week, third week, a month. I think I've reduced sugar a lot. That's why my sugar level is very good. And I now for the past 2 months I've been taking away the chicken skin.
Yep, good.
But I do allow myself maybe once in 2 months KFC. Once in 2 months okay lah. Fair lah.
Reasonable.
Once in 2 months KFC lah. Okay, reasonable lah. Even doctor approve. Okay, I think end of the day that's all the question I have.
Great.
I think those questions very relevant for all of us cyclists. And I think most important, no matter what kind of hobby you do, always be kind, helpful, and awesome.
Definitely.
Betul. Nasib baik I tembak je. Okay, Dr. Imran, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Melvin, for coming.
And for all of you who are aged, I won't even say 40 above, for all of you are aged 30 above, please get your medical checkup every year. You don't know, every year your body changes, so get an annual checkup.
Definitely.
With Dr. Imran.
Great stuff. Thanks, Melvin.
Okay, hope the sound is good because I didn't bring my wireless mic. Should be okay.